Right. Wow. God, I lost my voice. Seems like a good a time as any to do this video. It is day 11, I think. So, quick update. Basically, just waiting for the guys now. I'm early, they're late, but it's okay because we've done a lot of work. I did not expect us to be this ahead of schedule. Because originally this week we were just going to get the drums done and see where we're at the end. We managed to get all the drums done yesterday, really early, like maybe 1 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon, and that left us with extra time. So I got all the bass done in like an hour, which means we can now begin the more interesting part of the process, which is like editing and like looking at areas where we could like add things in. Yeah, I mentioned I think the other day that like we were thinking of putting like some keys in a few songs, maybe like some synths, not synths, strings. Put some strings in something. Maybe also put like a shaker. I don't know. Like, I guess we're trying to like. Now we're gonna sit and listen and edit, mix, master, and try to establish like, okay, what needs to be put in there, what needs to be improved. I'm no doubt gonna do some vocals, so I'm gonna try and get that set up today, so that I can retrack. I feel like of the takes I've done, it's probably like 20% that needs to be redone. I don't know, because I did hear certain songs and I was like, I can do better. And then other songs I was like, yeah, no, happy with that. So I guess it really depends. Because that's the thing about like an album or an EP or whatever, it's like that's the definitive version of a song. Like obviously you're going to play it differently live, but that's like the one that everyone hears as like the definitive one. So it's like anytime that song is referenced or brought up or whatever, that's the one people acknowledge. That's why often, you know, when you see your favorite artist and they play the song totally differently, it can be a bit disheartening because, you know, you grew up on a particular version of that song or it being played a certain way. So when they play it differently, it feels like a letdown. You feel almost like robbed in a way. But it's interesting. It's interesting to play things differently live, you know. It's interesting for the artist. But you got to think about, I suppose, your fans. Listen to me talking about fans. I suppose I do have a few right now. I mean, if you're watching this and you've followed me for some time, I guess I could count you as a fan. I just feel, to me that word feels weird because I said it to a friend earlier. Like, I live in a world of obscurity, a guy chasing his dreams where nothing's really kind of progressed. I still live the same life I did several years ago. The only difference now is that I spend all my time chasing my dreams as opposed to just, I don't know, sitting and watching Netflix or whatever. But I'm trying. And I think that's all you ever really can do in life. Your attitude and mindset is everything. I think throughout this whole process, I've been thinking a lot about when and how I wrote these songs and how we're finally... You know what, that's progress. If I sit here and I'm honestly really positive about how things have gone, I can say that right there is process. Because when I first wrote these songs years ago, I was just sitting in a room just writing music, playing music. And now, 4 years later, here we are recording them and putting them on an album for the world to hear. There it is. I found something positive. So, on that note, let's get some work done. You. Alright. Time for vocals.
Did you put it on the mix?
It is on 10. No. It should smart to 3. It's because it's not sending to the right thing. It says mono, it's line 1, 2.
Oh,
Can you just sing something?
Dreaming of you.
Third dial.
And I'm
Other one to the left.
dreaming of loving you.
Yeah.
And I'm dreaming of you.
Can you just scroll up a little bit? Yeah, sorry. Where's the fucking intro?
Tried to call you last night, but you ain't home. Said you want my love, but you ignore your phone.
Wait.
Tried to call you last night, but you ain't home. Said you want my love, but you ignore your phone.
Alright, so it's day 12, I think. I know that by the end of this week it will have been 2 weeks of being in the studio, like all together. And like I don't even know what to call this. I mean, I thought that this was going to be like a documentary. I guess it kind of is a series of video logs, if that counts. I don't know. I just know that I like this kind of fly on the wall style of documenting things. I've been criticized for that style, but I don't know. I like it. You know, I don't have all the money in the world for a posh studio or like, you know, all this equipment and cool stuff that I could, you know, you could do bigger and better things with. And believe me, I want to. I would love to do bigger and better content. But, you know, you make do with what you have. And I certainly have done that over the years. But yeah, I mean, you know, I always tell the truth, so I'm just going to shoot straight with you, because the whole point of these like vlogs is to give you an idea of where my head's at throughout the process. Normally I would just fully focus on the record itself, but to be honest with you, everything outside of the record has really just been testing me, and I'm not really in a good headspace right now. Having this album, working on this album, is like one of the few things in my life that actually feels somewhat important. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere or lead anywhere. I don't know if it's going to help me in any way. All I know for sure is that it's something I have to do. I have to get it out there. You know, I've never done an album before. I've recorded EPs. I did one for my first band, and then I did another one, which was an acoustic one, about 11 years ago. And then I never really, excuse me, I never really released anything. I mean, there was a one-off song that I did in Estonia with a band, but I never really pursued music again after that. You know, always just kind of was this thing that I flirted with, but I just didn't take seriously because you know, everyone knows the story at this point, but I'd given up on it years ago. I'll quickly tell the story. So like, the story behind this album, it has been years in the making. Basically, I've been writing these songs for years, and some of them are love songs, some of them are songs about loneliness and struggles, you know. The struggling artist, what a cliche, right? But I mean, it's true with me. There's always been some bullshit I've had to deal with, and music has often been my solace. And anything creative, you know, music, acting, you name it, I've always tried to funnel emotions into that. You know, use it as a form of escapism, or just use it as a coping mechanism. And to be honest, a lot of the time it's worked, or it's at least distracted me enough that I was able to continue and carry on with life. And, you know, during the course of like COVID and after that, you know, I kept live streaming, and and writing songs. And I found that sometimes people would like some of those songs. You know, I wrote a lot of songs in that period. I think somewhere around like 200 songs. But you know, like when you're sifting through material and looking at like what can make an album and stuff, a lot of stuff doesn't make the cut. And there's a lot of songs I would still really love to record in the future. But the songs you're going to hear on this album, or have heard on this album by the time this comes out, I guess, this was like my definitive selection of the songs that I've done in the last sort of 3-4 years that I wanted to kind of show as an introduction, I suppose. You know, to give you an idea of like me as an acoustic writer, because I can write different styles. I love music. I love just jumping into different styles and trying different things. But this acoustic style is something that's been boiling in me for some time. I don't know, like, what my music sounds like. I mean, that's kind of you be the judge of that. You know, that's your job. All I can really say is that acoustically, I'm inspired by, you know, artists like City and Colour. I suppose a little bit the John Butler Trio. This band you probably never would have heard of, but I love them. A Great Big Pile of Leaves. Just bands like that, I guess. And it's weird when you don't really consider yourself to be an artist. You know, like, I am, I guess. I think for me, a lot of how you view yourself as a person is tied with your job, which it shouldn't be. But it's difficult when people ask you, like, when they say, like, so what do you do? I mean, well, what I do for the most part is I work in like hospitality on a casual basis. You know, that's what I do. Occasionally I get to do things like acting and music and stuff, but most of the time I'm just doing stuff that I don't want to do. But, you know, it's funny, throughout the course of producing this album, I really have felt like it was where I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be doing. And, you know, if nothing ever comes of it, at least I got an album done, which is like a bucket list thing, I suppose. I guess the most important thing is that, like, a lot of heart went into this album. You know, it's not just like I wanted to go in there, record some shit and get it out. Like, I really needed to do this, I think, for my own sanity and self-worth. To know that I could do it. Maybe. I don't know. I think often in life you find yourself having to prove yourself to the people around you, to society itself, and to yourself. Like, you are your biggest enemy. I often feel I'm battling with myself about things. And this album, when I sit and think about it, when I get 5 minutes to actually sit and think about it and not worry about some other bullshit I'm dealing with in my life, it's fucking cool. You know, it's cool to know that I got the opportunity to do this. And I guess I want to say a massive thank you to Jack and George for making this happen. Without them, this just wouldn't have been a possibility. And it started from such a random place. I mean, this is the funny thing about life. So, you know, the backstory of the songs and everything. Like, what I would often say in live streams was, yeah, I'd love to do an album, but, like, you know, that's a pipe dream, innit? I need the money, I need the, you know, the means to do that. But it just never really seemed like a possibility. And people would always ask, people continue to ask, like, when you release an album, when are you going to put music out? Can I find you on Spotify? And I'd always be like, yeah, one day. And then maybe like 6 months ago, I can't remember, I was working. I won't say the name of the venue, but I was working somewhere, and we were doing like an opening event basically, and I was just there as like an agency guy, and I met George for the first time. Obviously, that's what meeting someone is. This is how you can tell I've not woken up yet. I met George, and we got chatting, and I just really liked him. I thought he was a really, really nice guy, and a cool guy as well. I don't know, there was just some energy he was giving off that I found interesting. And we got chatting, and like eventually you start talking about, you know, what you're doing outside of work, because most people, 90% of people, are using hospitality as a means for something else. And lo and behold, he's doing music. He's music production and all that, and he's a musician. And I was like, oh, well, that's amazing. I'm a musician. We should get together and do something sometime. And normally when you say shit to people like that, it's like, oh yeah, that'd be nice, and then nothing ever happens. But there was just something about it where his response was a bit more like, yeah, no, actually, maybe let's do something. And we toyed around with the idea, and I think one song became maybe an EP, and then at one point I was pitching to do 3 albums, which it's kind of hilarious in retrospect, because this album, we've worked really quickly and very hard on this album, but the idea of 3 albums, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I think part of me was like, oh, well, it's acoustic music, how difficult could it really be? And I'm like, well, if you want to do it properly, then it's going to take time. And granted, we didn't have to add like bass and drums and stuff to the songs, but we did, and that inevitably takes more time. And there's other things we've learned, which I've documented throughout this process, that just took longer, that we learned to do like a different way. Like, we've all learned a lot from this process. But really, I have George to thank for that, and Jack for his professionalism. But both George and Jack are a real joy to work with, and honestly, anyone who gets to work with them, you know, it's a real honor to work with them. Like, they actually care. This is a big thing, right? If you're an artist, you're an up and coming artist, and you want to get your music recorded, the best advice I could give you from a production standpoint is to find someone who cares as much about the music as you do. I never forget the very first person I ever worked with in a studio. His name was Phil Kinman, and he produced my band's EP at the time. And me and him used to stay in the studio till really, really late, just working on stuff. And I remember one night, everyone had left, and we were still there like 2 hours later or something. And I said to him, like, hey, I appreciate you working on this, but like, I can't afford to pay you the time extra, because like, we'd already paid up front for everything, and you know, this was just like extra editing time. And I'm paraphrasing, but basically what he said in a nutshell was that his name would be going on this record as well, and it would go under his, you know, it's his reputation on the line, and anything that had his name attached to it needed to be excellent. It couldn't be anything less than that. And what he meant was not like, oh, it has to be the best thing ever, but it needed to be like, he needed to kind of sign off on it and be happy with it, you know. And so he was going to spend that extra time making sure it was as good as it possibly could be. And I guess like that always stuck with me, this idea of like, anything you do in life, make sure if it's under your name, like you put 110% into it. I mean, fuck me, even when I'm doing like hospitality work and I don't want to be there, you know, I make sure to work hard and do my best, because you never know who's watching, you never know what opportunities it could lead to, you never know how people could view you and what that could lead to and where it could lead to, and so on and so forth. And I think it's just good practice for life in general to just try to excel in everything that you do. You know, it's a good attitude to have. So that's kind of like how things came together with this album. I suppose I should give you an update of right now, shouldn't I? Because I've kind of rambled on a bit. Basically, as I say, this week I guess I've earmarked it as I want it to be the final week. I don't know how realistic that is, but there's no more like quote unquote official recording anymore. I don't think we might record some keyboards. I don't know, but everything else is done, and now it's just a case of listening to stuff and maybe re-recording vocals. I don't know, just trying to listen to things and iron stuff out and edit and everything. But I really want to get this album done. I've been bugging the guys like crazy about this, and I'm sure they're sick of me at this point. I just know that I needed to push this a little bit. And one thing I've realized, I suppose, is, you know, anything that you care about, obviously you're going to push it as much as possible, and you shouldn't feel bad about doing that. Like, it's yours, it's you, and not everyone's going to care about it the same way as you do. So like on one part I feel bad about harassing them, and another part I feel good about it, because I'm like, well, I'm trying to get this done. And it's been pushed back. I think originally we said we wanted to get it done by July, and that's just not happened. I think August maybe is still ambitious. I feel like September is going to be the time. I don't know why. I've got the photo shoot done. I've got like the album cover in mind and everything. I'm starting to build an idea, a bank of like how to promote this, because that's another thing as well. Like, I don't have like a PR team or like the resources to promote this, so I've got to kind of look at like the little things that I can do. So I'm starting to build an idea of what I'm going to do, who I'm going to send it to, and so on. But it's very much like a figuring it out as I go along thing. But today, and moving through this week, as I say, it'll be about editing and listening and putting things together and trying to kind of curate the final product, I guess. So here we go. Hello!
Oh, that's nice. That.
Hello! Hello there! I am going to record some vocals for this here album. Will you stop laughing? It's not funny. This is deeply serious. A very serious and intimate moment.
Say that.
Ha 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 ha! Poppycock.
Yeah. He's no longer with us. Oh no.
What are you doing, Jack? Hey? What are you doing?
Is he jacking off on the drums?
He's just sitting there.
Getting some quiet time.
Oh, I think he actually is on a call.
Does he talk as well?
Yeah, I think so. It's such a strange place to have a phone call. What?
Yeah, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Easier. Oh. I hate this keyboard, man. The notes are so like. No, come on.
was shit, that.
Motherfucker.
Pick up from
It's so annoying.
Nearly there.
there, right?
Wanna pick it up?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm gonna punch it in, yeah?
Yeah.
He's gonna punch it in. Punch it in,
When
Chewie.
it starts playing again, you just keep playing.
I didn't hit the wrong note there.
Yeah.
You need to delete what I've done, Jack. You know what I mean? I think you're playing over it as well.
Yeah, no. I know what's happening. What's going on over there?
Are you ready to rock?
Come on, Jackie boy.
Come on, Jackie boy.
Oh, yeah.
Jackie boy.
Yeah. Just trying to get comfortable. I might stand up, you know.
Yeah. Feel it a little more.
You know, that was it. Come here. Come here, boy.
Get over here.
Megatron.
Megatron.
Megatron. Sorry,
Excuse you.
Take it away from the book.
Swearing. What a language.
Yeah, gentle, yeah.
Gentle.
Yeah. Let's for the first chorus we'll go gentle.
Let's see.
Just ease into it.
Ready?
Yeah, give him lead in about
I think also like playing it like higher up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Start off.
And then for the end.
give him one bar, or at least two, one or two.
Yeah.
Alright, you ready?
Okay.
Let's go.